Open up, Colorado. It's 420. Time to grind and burn.
This is not your son's stoner show.
We're back. Welcome back, friends, family, cannapreneurs, and all others who are joining us for the first time. Welcome to the Cannabis Community Project radio show, a weekly broadcast podcast from the CCP studios high up in Denver, Colorado. I'm here exploring the business side of this newly emerging economy, focusing on the business, the patient, the retailer, to the geek in the garage, creating that next innovation in cannabis. This is the first media platform to help fellow cannapreneurs build sustainable businesses while living the lifestyle. Thanks for joining us once again for another show. It's going to be a good one. This is a party we had talking to the fellers down there at the Cannabis Commodities Exchange. We have the Green Consulting Group. We have the Skunkbox, kind of a conglomerate of products and services lumped together under one roof. A handful of entrepreneurs down off of Zuni and 29th in the heart of Denver, working hard to make this industry a legitimate and growing industry. And yes, they're also our new sponsors. You may have heard me talking about them. You may have heard the previous shows. We're going to get into a big party, basically. We just turned on the mics and had a little bit of fun. Over the next few weeks, months, you're going to be hearing more and more about how the Commodities Exchange works, about the products they sell, like the Skunkbox. You'll learn all about that. And also Green Consulting Group. The majority of them down there are lawyers. Well, actually, most of them have passed law school, let me say that, and most of them we can call lawyers, but there might be one there who technically we can't call a lawyer yet, even though he has passed law school and the whole deal. You'll hear all about it. We're going to introduce you little by little to more people of the community, more members of the community, more sponsors, and these guys are just the heart and soul of really what we're all about, getting together with like-minded individuals to make the industry better. So before we get into that, let's remember what we talked about last week. Do you remember last week's show? You remember Gary? Gary from Gary's Rec Room down off of Broadway and Harvard. Great location to hang out once you've gone to the dispensary and you've purchased your supply. Now what do? You're going to sit on the corner of the street and consume it? No, can't go to a park. You're going to take it home to your one-bedroom apartment where you got your kids running around. Why not go to Gary's Rec Room and hang out where for a small donation of just a few bucks you can hang out, make a new friend, and have a nice relaxing place to consume your own medicine or recreational use depending on how you purchased it. But let's take a quick short-term memory flashback relapse to episode 33, Gary's Rec Room, before we move on to this week's show.
It's been another good Wednesday, man. You're talking a month and a half.
Well, as soon as I walked in here, I immediately said, oh, this is a good vibe, right? This is a good place. Has a good vibe, has a good color, has a good ambience. It's the luck of the draw location. It really is a tourist game, I think.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that's who comes and visits me on a regular basis. You know, it's the people from out of town, and that's why I made my place available, is for the people from out of town. I was one of those people in April, and it wasn't available to me, and that by not allowing me to smoke it legally somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, sure. There's a couple places in Colorado Springs, and I bake and a couple other places around to enjoy, because that's what it's here for. Now they're from out of state.
But we're getting sidetracked.
Yes.
That's preaching to the choir.
Yes.
what we need to understand is how you developed what you're developing here.
Yeah,
and
that's
this was
what
all
also-
coincidental to be a network of houses across the city, a True Bud network. So when you buy the membership, or when you're coming into town and you buy the temporary membership, but the rooms, it's not a single building hotel. The rooms are True Buds across Denver.
And I've already thought about those kind of things, and I'm lucky
Well, it's
enough
representing the brand. It has to be like we were saying about McDonald's. It has to be a consistent product in the sense of if you're in Thornton or Denver or Wheat Ridge, you're going to get a consistent place that you're going to go to. That's going to be a certain something.
Well, and it can't just be in a neighborhood somewhere. It has to be in a spot. What I found with the locals, it's, hey, I got some people coming in from out of town. I live in a 1-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
I don't have room for me and my 4 buddies to get together and, smoke a bong and sit and chat.
Do you have any paraphernalia on site that people engage in?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got a...
So somebody doesn't necessarily need to bring in their $300 bong.
I would prefer they do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't have a big bong to rent or to use or anything.
So what's the next step in what you're doing here?
Really just to progress the way it has, see which path it takes, because I've had attention from several different angles.
Yeah.
You can find me on Facebook. I'm on ColoradoPotGuide.com. You can also just call me. My number's 309-253-4376. It's all me. Gary's Rec Room isn't a bunch of guys, a bunch of people. It's Gary. That's it. That's all I want to get. It's me.
There you have it, Gary's Rec Room. Make sure to check him out. Look him up on Facebook, Gary's Rec Room, GARY''S REC Rec Room. You may have a similar business, just like Gary. Maybe you're in the health industry or the legal industry or the food industry or growing industry or just some other general technology based in cannabis, and you'd like to get that idea out to the audience. Maybe you'd like to express your thoughts about business, express your thoughts about the industry, or just straight up try to sell some stuff. I'll allow it as long as we do it in the right way. Contact me. I want to hear from you. I want to discuss these issues. We can get you on the show and talk about it. We can do it off air and just let people know about it. Remember, I'm creating a sponsor store where right from the website, every business that you've heard about, every product that we've talked about, right from the website, as you're listening to my show, you're going to be able to view a page called Sponsor Store where you will see every product and service that we've brought through the community. Feeling guilty about a time with cannabis? Get it off your chest and confess it on Cannafessions, your public forum to absolve your soul. If you have a confession to make, contact me via Facebook or the website at CannabisCommunityProject.com.
Doom dak doom dak doom doom doom.
Doom daka doom daka doom doom doom.
A doom dak doom, a doom dak doom.
Yes. Joder macho. Derek. Joder macho.
We were just inspired by the
Doom, doom, doom.
I love cannabis.
keyboards to make our own great new age music. You want to help? What can I do? Well, I can teach you how to play the keyboards. Will it take long? No, of course not. Come on over here. Yeah, check this out. Okay, put your hand over here. Okay. Put your finger down. Like that.
You know, the Cannabis Commodity Exchange is a great product for other dispensaries, but how does the individual relate? How does the individual cannapreneur out there get involved in our sponsors, CCX? Well, I'll tell you, they have a product called the Skunkbox. The Skunkbox is for any herb connoisseur. Why? Because it's the premier herbal humidor. Skunkbox increases the quality of your favorite herbs and saves you money by making them last longer. Store your favorite herbs for weeks without them drying out and losing their flavor and potent scent. Restore dried out herbs in just a few days and bring back the odor, flavor, and texture you love. Keep your herbs and accessories safe in the water-resistant, dust-proof, and odorless container, whether you're home or on the go. It's customizable, and here in Colorado, it's a locking container that is for when you are leaving centers or dispensaries with your product. You now no longer have to pay those few bucks for those cheap Ziploc bags that they're making you buy. Check them out on the Cannabis Community Project sponsor store, the Skunkbox, presented by the Cannabis Commodities Exchange. Oh, you have? You're a listener. How many shows have you heard?
I heard just 2 back-to-back on one Saturday. The first Saturday I was here at Stone.
We did. We listened to your 420 Saturday show.
Oh, excellent.
We like it.
It was my first day here, and that was crazy.
So, yes, it was very interesting to hear someone talk about
your first day here? All right, let me get this out of the way. So you're Logan from Minnesota, and you work with CCX.
Yep.
Very good. Welcome to Colorado.
Thanks.
Let's introduce who we're sitting with. We're here with Josh Miller of the Cannabis Commodities Exchange, known as CCX, also the co-founder of Green Consulting Group. Has a law degree, but is not an attorney.
No, not yet. One day, very soon.
Need to be very specific. I'm not sure why that matters. Why does that matter?
Those have to do with ethical rules and...
What's the difference between having a law degree but not being an attorney? It means you haven't passed the bar exam.
No. I have passed the bar. You must get sworn in after that. I just haven't done that. And there's an ethical class, and I've taken that too.
I haven't quite finished your self-written introduction, so hold on. What else do we got here? Otherwise, you're just an industry knob?
No, that's Logan. Logan's the industry noob. And no, it's not knob. A noob would be a term for newbie, which means to be new to something. And yeah, I've been here a little over a year. And even though it's not a lot of time, I guess you could relate to the fact that that amount of time in this industry is quite a bit of time, just because things are moving very rapidly and we've been on the inside of a lot of things.
Very good.
Good time. Well, otherwise, Logan and I are just friends. We found each other. He's out here in Colorado, and we have a passion for cannabis like you. So,
well, people will probably recognize the name Cannabis Commodities Exchange because we've been
Thanks
here twice.
To you. Yeah.
Well, please. No, please keep going. Tell him. Say more.
Thanks to you. He's gotten the word out. We appreciate it.
We were here before a couple times talking to Soham Shah.
That is correct.
Back in, I don't remember the dates, but it was a few months ago. And then we were back maybe a month ago when he lost his position due to cannabis exposure of the exchange. We talked about that. Now we're back again. So maybe we'll just make a routine out of it and come back every few months and figure out what's going on with you guys. Since you've already been here 3 times, we might as well keep you in the rotation.
We would very much appreciate that opportunity. That'd be great. Thanks.
Now, let's give a little full transparency. We're going to be coming back a lot here because we actually just got done signing an agreement. Did we not?
We did.
We just signed. Is the ink dry yet? Where is the contract?
I don't think so.
The contract was quickly whisked off and put into a locked, secured location where it'll probably come back to haunt me.
No, none of us. Ravi has control of it right now. And we have come to an agreement, one which will sponsor your show and support the things you're doing, as you've already so graciously supported the things we're doing. This is a good day, and I think it's leading to lots of even bigger bigger and better things along the way. So we are happy. Very
Absolutely. So we're going to be in a relationship that's going to be beyond real sponsorship, because sometimes that can sound cold, right? It sounds very cold, sponsorship, like you're just a suit and tie that comes in once a month and looks at some numbers and gives me the shake of the head and says, I don't know if we're going to be able to continue another month. We're not selling too many products. We don't want that kind of relationship. We actually want to work together and have people exposed to your ideas and your business so people can learn about what's happening in the industry and just have us be members that participate in that overall activity. Whether they use you to join up for your membership to become an exchanger, or what would the official term be for those who become part of the exchange?
It is a membership in ways, and only cannabis licensees, and for that matter, only state licensed cannabis businesses, so only ones that are governed by a uniform set of state regulations. Those people can take part as a member in our exchange, but only those people have the right to either produce or process, manufacture, deliver, sell cannabis to the public. So those are the only people that can take part in our platform right now. But our platform is meant to connect those people so they can do business on the wholesale level at a much more fluid rate.
And we're also going to talk a little bit about maybe some peripheral products. You have another one in shop here that we've been exposed to called the Skunkbox, which is, I guess, just a carrying case, or how would you describe it?
It is much more. It's a humidor. One of my good friends and partners, Maziar Momeni, he would describe it as...
What's his name?
Maziar Momeni.
That is a cool name.
It is a great
badass name.
Maz for short. Maz would describe it as what happens when a pelican case meets a humidor, and a cannabis humidor in this instance, but it could be used for other things. But it's secure, it's durable, it has a hygrometer which will allow for a reading of the humidity inside the box, and it does a great job. I mean, people store their buds in bags or in mason jars, or some people are sophisticated, people that you may know very well, like yourself, who have other storage cases, but for the most part, people keep them in containers that dries out bud, and this does not. It in ways even restores it, and it's ultimately very impressive. There's a guy, Connor Barrickman, down in Tucson, where all of our founding team of CCX, we all went to school at the U of A in some way, shape, or form. 4 of us for law school, 2 of us for undergrad, and we met Connor as well, and he's got a hacker space, and he creates these things. We would love to get more consumer feedback on them and get them out there and produce them at a larger scale, because we think we got something that's good and that the cannabis connoisseur would really appreciate storing his short-term cannabis use in.
Well, I appreciate the compliment of being a sophisticated cannabis consumer.
Definitely.
I've always thought of myself as sophisticated in the highest levels of cannabis consumption. But no, I would look at any product with the same amount of critique, regardless of who it's from. If my mom presented me with a product, I would critique it just the same of its functionality and overall aesthetics and what it was used for. And I think this is a good product. I mean, we're going to do some promos, right? We're going to cut some promos and some little ads, but we're going to look at it from a community standpoint. And in that relationship, we're going to create a community where we're going to exchange advertising and talk about what you do. We want to be fully transparent in letting people know that we're bringing on a sponsor, but not just any sponsor. I mean, we've developed to this point.
Yeah, we have a nice relationship. It's been awesome.
Well, thank you. That means a lot to me.
No, but you've come into our space multiple times and made friends with members of our team, and human capital is very, very important to us.
Would you like to hug it out?
Yeah, and actually, I want to hijack your show just a second, a little bit, so we can hear from Logan. I'm going to put him on the spot, but I think we should ask Logan about, he's only been here for a month, but this is a new world. This is not like any other place. He's from Minnesota, and they have just introduced medical marijuana into their state, but it's on a very restricted basis. Like New York, they're not going to allow people to smoke cannabis flower, and maybe not even put it on the shelves. It can only be vaporized. I don't know exactly how that's working out, but I do know that the patients in Minnesota, some of them are revolting. They're not becoming patients. They're like, we're not going to take part in the system because it is not useful to us. So Logan's from a different spot, and he's in this the state of freedom. So we should ask him about what he's learned.
State of freedom?
Yeah.
Is that the motto?
I guess so.
Colorado. Freedom
Colorado.
Abounds. Smells like freedom.
Anything with freedom is a great title.
That's right.
Very American.
Wild West.
So you're from Minnesota. Are you involved in the scene up there? Are you in the cannabis industry?
No, not really. In college, I just had people I bought from and smoked with my roomies and had a good time always. And then I started growing my own a couple times more and thought it was really interesting. Like, I could always see myself going back to that. Maybe someday, who knows. But like, kind of found like a true love for the plant. It started just, I don't know, thinking it was really cool, but didn't really think I would stay in Minnesota if I wanted to pursue something like that. At the time I first got ideas of looking into it, I was in a relationship too where it just wouldn't have worked out if I pursued it. So I kind of set it to you said, all right, screw it, I'll just go on the job I'm currently doing. I'm doing well. And then more and more opportunities started just showing up in Colorado. You started reading about it in the news more and hearing about it. So I was like, well, now's the time, I have the capital to take a risk like this. And I think...
How do you have the capital?
I did window sales before in Minnesota.
Okay.
So I was able to
going door to door selling windows?
Yeah, it started off as a little marketing rep, and you're going around, you knock on the doors and you set meetings with the homeowners. They meet with your senior partner and they close the deal.
Wow.
And then I got promoted, so I got to be the closer. But it was
That
fun.
means what? You get the biggest percentage of the sale?
You get like a higher commission, of course.
And all you do is step in to close it.
Yeah, but it's not that easy, man. Like, you're managing a team of marketing reps to set meetings, so like it sounds picture perfect, like sweet. I just show up at 5 or 6 to this meeting, run
Shake
it,
the
hopefully
hand.
it sells. Yeah. And get out of there. But a lot of times, like, you need to put in a lot of time in your marketing rep, making sure they're successful. Otherwise, in commission-based positions, like, people just get sick of it, and if they're not successful, they flake out quick. You have to be really perseverant.
Well, you got to lay the ground, and you got to have the perseverance and income.
You have to, be self-driven enough to just force yourself to get in your car and go out there, which doesn't seem like it's that hard, but sometimes it can.
Lack of structure is very difficult.
Yeah, it definitely.
Lack of structure. A lot of people, I don't tell this, but when I was 18, coming right out of school, before I got my first big anything job, I was selling vacuum cleaners.
Yep.
Expensive ones, $2,485.
What were they called?
No.
Filter.
No.
Filter Queen, the majestic Filter Queen.
Okay, I can't remember. There was a big one in Minnesota.
Well, there's Kirby and there's the rainbows, but those are all subpar in the sense of, don't make me get into my sales pitch right now. Almost by instinct, I can go right into
Never would I buy a $2,000 bag.
I'm going to start talking about centrifugal force and how airflow blocks up suction. But those type of jobs really lay the groundwork for building true character and a work ethic and understanding how to break through to get sales. Because any business needs a good salesperson, right? And people that aren't afraid to stick their neck out there and dig it in. Ask those personal questions and know how to get the job done. So you brought those talents, I guess, into this industry. Are you going to start selling? Is that your role here?
Yep, that's my role at Cannabis Commodities Exchange.
You're the sales guy?
Yeah, but now...
Well, you're wearing the polo shirt already.
It's not like... But I just... Yeah, I think it'll be
If you're
really
good
cool.
at sales, you can work in almost any company because all you have to understand is sales itself, right?
Right.
You can learn a lot of other stuff as far as what a product is.
Yeah, if you can sell it.
How it works, but if you understand relationships and networking.
Right.
And
there's some things that...
Asking for money.
Like I did just cold calling at a software company, and there's like hundreds of you called BDRs, Business Development Representatives, and your little queues right next to each other. It's like 150 of you in a room, and you get graded on your call time, so you have to have a certain amount of call time by the end of an 8-hour shift. So
this guy was just talking about it, but
yeah,
a certain amount of call time, but you also have to dial a certain amount of numbers, right?
That,
so
that
like
was
balance.
different. So this one didn't have to be a certain amount of numbers, but you wanted enough to like, so your manager saw it, they didn't, think you were BSing at all. But like kids would, and I was guilty of it sometimes. Everyone was. It sucked. We called them God numbers, and they would call and it would pick up, but it would just be like a never-ending menu. So you could get huge call time. You get like 5 minutes of call time, and then just all right, bye. And then you get to put it in your log, and if they ever caught you, you'd be fired right away. But
well, those are some great jobs to build that thick skin at the beginning of life.
I agree. agree that you need a good salesman in every company, but Logan does not answer our question. Yes, you have a nice story, Logan. I love it. I've enjoyed getting to know. What have you learned about the industry since you've come to Colorado?
A lot. I just don't feel fully equipped to like even talk that much about it at this point because I'm so new.
What do you know that you didn't know when you got here?
I guess I didn't know like what dabbing was, you know, like I thought I knew a lot from Minneapolis. Didn't know what dabbing was. I thought there was just like wax, but you have like shadow.
Well, how did you consume the wax?
Sometimes we just put it on top of
Just with a lighter?
just bowls.
And just light it on top and melt it down?
I think so. Wait, if it wasn't wax, what else would it be? Hash.
For the record, I didn't teach Logan about dabbing.
No.
Well, your modesty is applaudable. I mean, you don't have to be the expert, right?
No.
What else did you know?
I guess I thought just once it went recreational in January, that meant like anyone could do it. I didn't know about any of the vertical integration. So the market's just a lot.
What do you mean? Explain that.
How there's all the dispensaries have the 70-30 grow rule, so they 70% of what they 70% of what they grow, they have to grow 70% of what they sell. Yes. And they can wholesale up to 30% of it, but no more than that.
Yeah. Do you know when that's going away?
In October 1st. That's going to be game time.
Look at you. You've learned things. What else have you learned? That's all I'm getting at, man.
That's all good. That's all good
stuff. A lot of learning to be done.
Learning random facts is the salesman's toolbox, right?
Right.
Because every good salesman needs to be able to pull out a good phrase of facts.
Yeah, you don't have to be like extremely knowledgeable about one thing. You just have to be able to pull enough bullshit out of a bunch of different things.
So what does it mean when that goes away? When that rule goes away?
Then there'll be a lot more wholesale trade going on, which that's really exciting for Cannabis Commodities Exchange, and just anyone else engaged in wholesaling, I guess.
Why will more wholesale be going on?
Because then dispensaries don't have to grow all of their own. They can, if they're out in the middle of nowhere and they can't even grow a good crop or something like that, they can just buy from a bunch of other places, get all the best products. If they know there's certain strains that are hot, they can pick them up from somewhere else. They don't have to grow them themselves.
And vice versa?
And vice versa.
Nice.
What about for the suppliers?
For the suppliers, they can buy a lot more what?
Well, they get to grow themselves and individually as well. So people get to like hone their crafts. What do you know about Washington that's different from the way Colorado has been up until this point?
Wait, what do you mean with growing yourself?
We're getting just a cultivation license. That'll be allowed as well.
Okay, and that now, like in October, just individuals can do that.
Well, yeah, they could do it just to grow. They could get a license just to grow.
Right, and then they can start selling to like MIPS. They can sell to dispensaries. They can do all that. So that's what's really exciting about a wholesale trade platform. So you're going to have a lot more.
What do you know about Washington?
They don't have. I don't know that much. A lot about they're not quite up to pace with Colorado, but in some ways they don't have vertical integration. So but they haven't licensed enough growers. That's the problem right now, isn't it?
That is correct. But the lack of vertical integration is the presence of horizontal integration.
Right.
You can get a license to produce and or process, or you can get a license to be a retailer. But if you're a retailer, you can't produce and or process. And if you produce and or process, you cannot retail.
Oh shit! So everyone they can't do it. Okay.
So.
All right. So in Washington, the dispensary can't grow their own.
Right.
The dispensary can't grow their own
and
in Washington.
At all.
The separation of caregiver and grower.
No, it's not caregiver. It's grower and or processor from retailer is what it is.
So the retailer, the dispensary, has to buy all their edibles, flower, everything from wholesale?
Yes.
Nice.
Not only that, but the producers have to send all their product to a processor, and most of the processors currently in Washington are just packagers right now, really. They're not taking and processing into edibles or other things that we see all over the market in Colorado, because the state of Washington has to individually approve edibles, tinctures, topicals, other concentrates, and things like that. So they're slow going out. So right now the processors are mainly packagers, and then from the processors to the retailers. So there are separated channels of distribution, which makes our platform, that's why it's hot out there. We're just waiting for product to get on it. There's not much supply on the rec market in Washington. We're just waiting for the product to get on the platform so we can go to work.
Yeah. We should take that last little 5 minutes there and package it into a seminar and charge people $19.95. Right? And we could do fly-by weekend seminars, get a Holiday Inn room packed in with 500 people, right? Charging them all $20 and then an additional $20 in additional services and drinks, and do a citywide tour.
we might have just gotten an all right show too. Sorry for hijacking it. Thank you for letting me do that. But these are the questions I wanted to ask this guy. You know, I know that he's come with the proper attitude and the proper spirit, and he's in a totally new place where people are doing things just a little bit differently because I think they do believe in a level of freedom that the rest of our country and our world is catching up to.
It's the great thing about podcasting. We can do whatever we want. There are no rules, right? But don't worry, I'll cut all that out. But let's talk about moving forward in the future. What do you got coming up? What's the next big thing with either party? I mean, there's a couple businesses being represented here, right? We got the Green Consulting, we got the Commodities Exchange, we got some products, the Skunkbox. What's the future? You got some members right now in Washington. What are they doing up there?
We have some members in Colorado, and we have some product on our site. We're waiting for supply, but we've talked to some suppliers and presented, the prospect of using our application, which is free for them to use right now. And we're changing a revenue model so that we only get value when we're offering them a much higher value proposition. So right now we're just waiting for product, and we know that this platform, a singular platform on the internet, is an evolution of the way they're doing business by the phone right now. It just connects people better and provides more information. So we know people are going to, especially as October comes and Croptober, as they call it, for the outdoor harvest comes, we know we're going to get some product on our site up there. Hopefully continue to get it here as vertical integration goes away in Colorado. Just gain momentum in both markets. The Skunkbox is a little hot. People at the CannaCon in Tacoma, Washington really liked it. It was one of the hotter options.
Sales up there?
We did. We sold out all the ones we had up there.
Nice.
And people like it. There's some improvements to be made, and we're going to make them. But we got something there that's really nice. And then our Green Consulting Group has gotten some application work, a little bit in Nevada and some in Illinois. And we have been preparing those docs at a pretty rampant pace because there's a lot of docs to prepare. But we have an insight in the regs, and we got some information about the application today, Friday, August 29th, that will guide us over the next week or two as we finish off preparing these apps. And I think we're going to really start snowballing in all of the things we've been pursuing for a while. It's really kind of a sweet spot for us, and we're excited about going over that first hump and starting to climb the next big hill.
So what we were talking about earlier, actually, before we started recording, that feeling of being so close to something and on the verge of knowing what there is, all the potential, but yet that step you have to get over is the size of the Grand Canyon.
That's it. That's it right there.
It's on the other side. You can see it, right? You can see it. There's nothing that divides you except the Grand Canyon. So what do? Do you jump over? Do you crawl down and walk across? Do you put up a rope and try to zip line it? What's the path here?
I mean, I think you build some type of path across that vast crevasse, and I think we all, and then on that path, you just take a step as big as you can. I think the first one in ways you do kind of have to jump in, but if you're walking over, a slippery, risky path, you probably should step very carefully at all times. But I think all three of us, and at different times in our lives, you and I pretty similar to each other, and Logan pretty new. We've all taken that first step, but the first step's big. That's the biggest one to take. Logan left his home in Minnesota to come out here. That's mad props.
Did you literally leave your home, like your parents' home?
No, I had my own place with a roommate in Minneapolis, uptown, and then I just had enough money to be able to move out here. I'm staying at a friend's parents.
You remember what Logan told you before the show? He's like, no, I will not talk to you because I don't know anything. I don't know anything at all.
Well, I mean, compared to the guys I've been hanging out with, I don't know much. Right on.
Right. People like to hear about new characters, right?
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you're going to be in an interesting position, exposed to a lot of people.
Yep.
Why don't you remember it and format it? Bring it into a monthly little reflection of something.
Yeah.
Write it down, and then you can record it. You can record it from home. You don't have to be in front of me per se. Just have a decent microphone.
Yeah.
$35. Plug in your computer, record it, send me the file, and I'll do the rest.
All right.
Sounds like a pretty good deal.
Do I need to do a segment right now? What's interesting?
Ooh, that's good. And now for What's Interesting with Logan.
I'll give you something. Being in Washington, the month of July was really beautiful in so many ways. We spent time, Maziar and I, on the west side of the mountain and on the east side of the mountain. And a lot of communities, especially on the east side of the mountain, are experiencing what a lot of communities in Colorado experienced about a year ago, which allowed those communities to, in some ways, restrict or regulate or put a moratorium on recreational marijuana sales here in Colorado. Initiative 502 in Washington did not clearly speak to those things, and communities are just doing it anyway. And the Attorney General, who's supposed to support the state law, has really not done much to support the state law against those attacks. And honestly, in ways, I guess I can understand it, because you as a state don't want to look at your communities, your municipalities and your towns and your villages and tell them they can't do what they want to do. But the problem is that both in Colorado and in Washington, and forever and always, I think, across this country, as this movement expands, you will see all kinds of fear-mongering that eventually has to go away. That's what boils my blood, and that is why we wake up every morning and we do what we do.
And Logan's against this.
No, he's not at all. He's come to join it, and he's a good guy.
Hey,
I like him.
I support all rants and raves on the show. I've gone off and ranted and raved once or twice. I think ranting and raving is a great platform. We should have more of it. You have something you want to rant about? It's open mics right now. Hey, everybody, come on down. We got open mics.
Maserati. Oh, yeah. Maserati. Come rant for a second. Tell me about the things that boil your blood.
Open mics right now. Make sure to tip your waitress.
He's coming.
I feel inspiration in the air. There's creativity dripping.
Oh, right. No, this is a good space to be in. That's why you keep coming.
Since we already got you here in front of the microphone, let's just capture you recording who you are and what your roles and responsibilities are.
Good Lord.
In this organization. It's good to have an idea who we're dealing with.
Sure. I'm Nick Brait. I'm the chief guru of the Green Consulting Group.
The CG...
Yes, I lead the spiritual and contemplative side of things for the organization. Actually, for some reason we decided that I would be the chief executive officer of the Green Consulting Group, and I like to think that I've filled that role admirably.
So you're referring to the Green Consulting Group. What we mentioned previously was the Cannabis Commodities Exchange. Fill us in on what we're dealing with here.
Sure. So I guess you can't call the Green Consulting Group the parent company, but it is the instrument through which myself, Josh, Mozzie, and Robbie sort of follow all of our ventures. And Cannabis Commodities Exchange, Skunkbox are two of those. We've worked on a few others that haven't been quite
These are brands underneath the Green Consulting Group.
They're projects that we work on. We have certain interests and reasons to be excited about these, and we love them. Very happy with the products that we've put together, and it's great to come out to the cannabis industry where everything's new and have the newest, coolest, shiniest toy out there in an industry full of cool, new, shiny toys.
Now, does the Green Consulting Group just manage these other entities, or is there an additional service or product being provided on top of the Commodities Exchange and the Skunkbox and so forth?
Sure. So it's, you couldn't call us a business development firm because I think there's special restrictions for that sort of thing, regulatory hurdles chemicals and crap that we don't want to deal with.
Right.
But, what we aim to do is take a business from that, nascent concept idea phase all the way through prototyping, development to launch and beyond from there.
Specific cannabis products or just in general business products?
We're open to just about anything, but right now everything we're doing is cannabis. It's our favorite market. It's a lot of fun, very interesting. Meet lots of cool people, and it's rarely a dull moment.
So you're the CEO, so your daily job is to sell the companies, the brands, do the administration. What is your daily role?
I do a lot of talking on the phone and interfacing with clients.
About product needs, servicing products, fulfilling products?
So on that end of things, we actually have specific people who are on top of those things. What I'm referring to is our work right now with the Illinois application process and getting that stuff done. It's a bear of a project and lots of customer interaction and keeping everybody happy, holding hands and making sure...
Being the representative,
exactly.
The chief.
Sure.
You got to make sure to show your feathers, right? Let everybody be known who the guy to turn to is when things go wrong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the fun part of it.
What is your background? Business?
I studied finance and political science in undergrad at SMU. Right after that, I went directly into law school.
Where's SMU?
Dallas, Texas.
Dallas, Texas. So you're a Texan or just went to school in Texas?
I'm actually from Chicago originally, but I got that whole go west young man bug fairly early and lit out for Texas for college. Went out to Tucson afterwards, got a little bit further west, and decided that Colorado was the place to be in the industry to be in.
So you came to Colorado to be in the cannabis industry?
Specifically for it, yeah.
So you were drawn here. You were drawn here like many others, looking for fame and fortune and the green nuggets rolling out of the hills.
It was November 4th, I believe, 2012. It was a lightning bolt, That happened. You saw legalization in 2 states, and, the writing was on the wall.
What else is there to do?
Exactly.
Did you go to law school with that same intent in mind? Is I'm going to learn about cannabis law and the...
It wasn't cannabis law. It was... the reason I went to law school was because at Cox School of Business, which is SMU's fancy name for the business school, you have to take a business law course. And I liked it so much I took business law and advanced business law. And after that, I realized that there was so much I didn't know. I just had to go learn it in order to be a better businessman.
Wow, calling and calling.
Yeah, so after graduation, I knew what business I wanted to be in and where to go to do it.
You're very much a follow destiny type person, aren't you? I can tell. You look for kind of what presents itself and then you follow the path that you think is presenting itself.
I just do what makes sense in the moment.
All right. Well, what makes sense in the moment? I mean, there's got to be some pre-planning and premeditation to life there. Did you went to business school? Will your parents endorse? Condemn?
No, they were shocked at first. My father is actually an elder at the local church, and they're very right-wing, straight-laced people, and we don't hold that against them. They were shocked at first, but they're supportive. And my dad was he was a company man for a while, and then when I was eighth grade or so, around there, he stepped out of his corporate job and started his own business and did the entrepreneurial thing. And that's kind of where I picked up that bug, and I learned about doing things for yourself and everything being about your business, and that's kind of what inspired me to get into that, and I think he sees that and sees a little bit of himself in what I'm doing, and so it's all... It works.
It came together.
Exactly. Things are going to change on the federal level, and companies that right now have to stay out are going to jump in. Your big tobacco, big alcohol, big pharma, big whoever, big law firms, big consulting groups. And
that's what's going to take over.
That's what's going to come in. There's no fighting it.
So the
say
exit
what you
strategy is sell out to the wave of big companies that comes in?
It's what I've set out to do, and what I set out to do for all of our clients is to build a the business that when this happens in 5 years, your payout is retirement. That's the plan. It's, like it or not, in 15 years, I bet 80% of the cannabis in this country will be produced by Monsanto. I hate the thought of it. Reality
but just
is,
the nature of
it'll probably happen.
What's happening in general with crop and land.
It's, there's always going to be a Budweiser and a Coors, and a company like Monsanto would fit that role just perfectly.
Well, just like the emerging role of craft beers in the alcohol industry that is really levelizing,
of course,
a lot of that power structure. There will still be a craft or a Budweiser and a Coors. Always.
Of course.
But there will be an increasing power and money flow towards the craft beers, and I think cannabis will probably fall into that same future of death or
but
destiny.
Then, of course, you have to remember that by this point, most of those craft beers have been bought up by AB and Miller, and they're not really craft anymore. It's just a label and a brand. That's the life. That's where this all goes. The corporations run the world.
Are you okay with that? Is that I guess that's your job though as
Can
a
I
CEO
change it?
though, right?
Yeah, it's
But isn't that your job as a CEO is to always be looking for that big bang exit strategy, the IPO, the sellout, the thing that makes the stock fly off the charts?
Yeah, it's no one can predict the future, but part of what you're doing in planning a business is predicting and identifying trends and aligning yourself with those trends and putting yourself in a position to capitalize.
Yeah. Well, how do you identify trends in an industry that has no trend set?
And that changes every month and a half. It's difficult. But, you can look at any other industry. There's nothing new here. CCX is freaking Craigslist right now, and we're going to turn it into the Chicago Board of Exchange or the CME Group. Nothing's new. The whole thing of cannabis is bringing shit that works outside into here, putting a new name and packaging on it, and everyone thinks you're a genius.
Yeah.
So as long as you can keep doing that, and if you look to other industries to see where things are going to go. For instance, on the production side of things, these indoor warehouse grows with 1,000 light bulbs that, you hear of electricity bills at $200,000 a month.
Right.
It's not sustainable. It's not going to work.
Well, that's a technology problem.
It's not a technology problem. It's a practices problem. If you look at the way that any other commercial agricultural product is produced, when it's produced indoors, flowers, tomatoes, cucumbers, it's hothouses, greenhouses, big 100,000, 300,000 square foot facilities.
So you would need a biodome in a sense.
Yeah.
A city of gardens.
What you lose in that is the specific control that you get in, your 1,000, 2,000 square foot room. You lose that, but you get all the economies of scale, and your costs are drastically reduced. And you have to think that that's where this is going to go at some point. There may always be a room, we're talking about craft beers, there will probably be a room for, Granddaddy Perp grown indoors under sodium metal halide lights for as long as you and I are around.
Mm-hmm.
But it's going to be a Cavassier, a very high-end thing that you spend a lot of extra money on.
Right.
And it's not going to be for the public.
Right, and especially in cannabis where you can truly have high-quality product
And you see the California outdoor growers, the BC outdoor growers, that shit's fire in the common parlance, and they do it outdoors. If you can get that done outdoors or in a greenhouse, the advantages that indoor is supposed to provide seem to shrink, and the costs seem to expand.
I see it somewhat as a technology problem in the sense of lighting will get cheaper, lighting will get more efficient, alternative energy sources will become smaller scale, growing methods will be developed, plant feed, and so everything from a technology standpoint is going to increase to the point where you probably, Star Trek it, right? Push a couple buttons and have it materialize in front of you.
Oh yeah, and we're going to be innovating as we move forward.
Yeah.
And, maybe LEDs will be the fucking solution, and solar-powered LEDs with every cultivation having a windmill on top of it. Who knows?
Yeah.
But, given the current state of technology and where we're at and where everything else is.
Where does your motivation come from? Do you lose motivation when you smoke?
No.
Going through law school in a rather quick amount of time from your undergraduates, that takes a little bit of motivation. Where is your motor coming from?
It's it's interesting. I didn't want to be anybody special through high school. Then I got to college and I realized if you really tried and really dedicated yourself, you could be just about anything. And that didn't really sink in. And I've got crazy big plans. I want to run massive companies, be a rotating CEO, jump into politics, run the World Bank. I don't know, but
you want to be one of the 300. You want to be
there's no limit to where you can go in this world if you apply yourself. And I guess that knowledge is what keeps me applying myself.
So you're using this as a stepping stone, or this is part of the ultimate number of companies and brands and products that will be incorporated into the empire that you create?
I see this as a stepping stone. I'd love to always have a toehold in cannabis, but I see that 5 to 8 year timeline wherever it may be, and right about then is when I'd like to go back to school, get my MBA, and after that, see what life offers.
Yeah. What life offers is a very relaxed motto for somebody who has a motor that's turned on.
Yes. You have lots of options and lots of directions.
How do you balance that?
Did
you draw straws to be CEO, or was there an actual method to the process?
Hey, it's Josh again. Came up the stairs.
Oh, hey, Josh.
I was actually there with Nick the day we made the decision.
Where'd you come from, man?
And we were crafting the business plan, Nick more than I. And he asked if I wanted it or if he wanted it. He should have it, or if one of our other partners should have it.
Great strategy.
And we thought he should have it, and then we asked the others, and they agreed. And he's been a rock, and he's been very solid. And we are not the same company or companies that we were a year ago, and we're in really good shape. I think he's wrong about federal prohibition and the ending of that. I think it's coming much sooner than he'll lead you to believe. I think 3 to 5 years would be a reasonable range, and I think if it happened before 3 years from now, I wouldn't be surprised, because I think by 2016 all kinds of shit is going to hit the federal fan, and it's going to be fun. So we're going all kind of places, man.
You guys are really a full cast of individuals coming and going, collaboratively working together. How do you determine, is there pay scales with titles here, or is there equal pay? How do you work out the details of working in an ensemble of
between the four of us, it's all share and share alike.
Equal. You have equal partnership, equal say, and equal divvy of the pie.
Mm-hmm.
You just hold the title of CEO for those representative purposes.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, there's no pyramid and structure as far as work or titles go.
It's very much a collaborative process between us. We never really reach an agreement without running everything through everybody and making sure that we've reached a consensus. And 4 is probably the limit to where you can do that.
4 people.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because it's an even number, but...
Well, and we, with CCX, the 4 of us and 2 others have a pretty, not exact, but a pretty equal share. And it's really whatever company you have and whatever founders and owners of that company are there. That decision-making body should find ways to ensure that its processes to make decisions are really fluid. And can happen in a timely manner, and yet with the proper thought and discussion and critique that all decisions really should have. And we're not perfect. We think we're getting better, but it's about having that team of people who can make those decisions as a team and collaboratively, and asking the right questions and then getting to the right solutions at the end.
Are you working on each other's businesses in the sense of, you have a green consultant Consulting Group, but you're also actively working to promote the Skunkbox? Or is the Skunkbox its own separate independent brand that exists under the Green Consulting?
It's not really under us, unlike CCX and GCG. So in GCG, Maz and Robbie, and then Nick
English?
and I. I'm sorry, the Green Consulting Group.
The GCG.
The GCG. The GCG. So under the Green Consulting Group, the GCG as we call it, Maz and Robbie and Nick and I, we have equal partnership. Then there's CCX,
right?
And we helped to build that company with Soham, who you know, right. And then Will, our developer, who you've met, but who the audience has not met. He's great though. He also has a sales mentality. He, like Logan, and more really than the rest of our team, he's done door-to-door sales, and he's equipped for those types of things. But he's a master as a developer, and I'm sure he'd be happy to join you at some point. We should make that happen. But the six of us help to make decisions for CCX because we're the ones who built that company. And then with the Skunkbox, we play more of an assistant role, but it's our job to do a lot of help with a lot of the branding. And social media and other outreach, some sales and marketing, and really just being a face, because the people who develop that really are so consumed with production and manufacturing right now, and we need to really hone those processes. And our role otherwise is to provide a little insight and just some thought into ways that can be done, and if we can, help find resources to do that.
Since we're doing group introductions, there's a couple of people who are here that we haven't introduced. If they would be kind enough to present themselves for an introduction, since this will probably come out as one full show of just a long string of back-to-backs, we might as well include everybody now. Who's left in the building?
It's been pretty interesting. It's been awesome. We appreciate it. So we got Maz and Robbie left. We're about to go get those guys.
If they would like to join us center stage,
we're going to send them up. Thanks again for having us. We really appreciate it, man. You're awesome. We appreciate your time. This has been fun.
It's been great talking to you again. Okay.
Nick, the reason we brought you up here before we get Maz and Robbie on is that you were going to give us a little musical note. And I understand that if you had your keys or if you had your guitar, you could do it much, much nicer. And we're going to do that.
How about this? Me. What we need is a musical tone that represents the Green Consulting, Commodities Exchange, everything. So every time we have a segment that includes one of you guys in any aspect, there's an underlying music that plays with that sets. So when people hear that music, they instantly have this reaction that's in their muscles. They don't even know why, but they know who you are and what you're all about. It sets a tone, right? Like when you hear Darth Vader come on the screen, what do, right? It sets the tone every time. It's the Cannabis Business Hour. It's so cheesy. I might like it in the sense of I might like it as a novelty kind of intro, right?
Sure.
Like yeah. Thanks for coming up the stairs.
No problem. My name is Robbie.
Robbie.
My name is Robbie Paul. I'm a U.S. Canadian.
What?
I'm a U.S. Canadian, dude.
Break that down into full words.
I'm an American with a Canadian passport of Indian heritage.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Just so I don't get emails that I can't answer. People go, what the hell is a Canadian?
Yeah, well, no, that's the...
Did you coin that term?
No, I didn't. A friend of mine did, though. Shout out to Ryan Halsey.
All right. Because that just might become we might have to get that up on Urban Dictionary. We might have to check out to see if...
I am all about the amalgamation. I will support it 24/7.
What's your title at the company here?
So for the Green Consulting Group, I believe I am the Chief Operating Officer.
Okay.
COO. I didn't mean to stall on that. I just forgot what the O was.
He be my number 2.
Number 2? Yeah. You're number 2?
We are all 1A, and I'm the only 1B.
I'm in the chair. He's my Zulu.
Anyways, so yeah, man. I mean, the Green Consulting Group is.
Where are you from originally? Canada?
I am from Windsor, Canada.
So you're Canadian?
Yeah, I'm Canadian.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm the proudest Canadian here.
You know, I've been watching lately this Dragon's Den Canadian version. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
You know what Shark Tank is, right?
Shark Tank
Yeah.
for Canadians.
See, Nick's partly Canadian and
This is
refuses
why
to
he's
admit it to
CEO,
me.
right?
And this makes
I
sense.
maintain the national vision of the company by watching Canadian TV.
Should anybody else self-declare if they're Canadian right now? No other Canadians on premise. All right, so thank you for joining us. Let's introduce everybody at the table. Who else do we have here?
How you doing?
T-Rex.
Oh, T-Rex.
T-Rex, that's right.
That's what I prefer to
It's
call
going to
you.
be my next pseudonym. Welcome. Please introduce yourself, because you are the only three who unprepared by not self-writing your bios like young Josh back here.
Josh is
I prepared for like 2 seconds. I just wrote it down. You were complimenting me and how fast I was writing.
Don't listen to that. He was standing in front of the mirror all night.
Right. So because I don't have a written document in front of me, please introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Maz Momeni. I'm from Las Vegas originally. I'm a member of CCX and GCG and GLF.
Well, all three of them.
Yeah.
How did you get involved in all three?
I've been here from the start. I met these guys in law school, and we clicked on a lot of levels. We were friends, and then we started talking about marijuana and what was going on in Colorado and Washington, and we just decided that we would really regret not even trying to be a part of this. So
you also went to law school. Can I call you a lawyer?
Yes, you can, in Colorado.
But I can't call Josh a lawyer.
No, yes, you can.
No, not yet.
Oh,
he's got to raise his hand and swear it first.
Okay.
He hasn't been sworn.
He hasn't pledged his soul to the cult of attorneys yet.
I will. I will do that. I just haven't yet. But yeah, I have passed all requirements as well. But all three of these guys, Robbie, Maziar, and Lenick, they are attorneys.
So you go by Maz for short?
Yeah, Maz or Mazi.
And what is your title, your role here at the company?
He's the Sultan.
Of which company?
We're talking GCG.
We're talking GCG.
We're talking in general, kind of everything that's represented, because what we're going to do is we're going to represent everything, right? Everything's going to be talked about because it's all part of the overall community. So we're going to talk about the exchange. We're going to talk about the box. I understand you're the founder of the Skunkbox.
No.
No, I just made that up.
No, well, I mean, I'll gladly take credit for it, but it'll probably come back to home.
Somebody referred to you as being the one.
Well, I was leading the sales push.
He was the inspiration, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm skunky and I'm shaped like a box.
So you're doing sales for the Skunkbox and sales for the membership on the exchange.
Yeah. I was pushing the lead sales up in Canacon and Tacoma, Washington, and I have been leading the sales push with Josh and Robbie and so on. We've all been pretty active in it.
A lot of businesses don't understand how close you have to really work together with people day in and day out to build a relationship, to have a business form.
Oh yeah, man, we're like a family, but we love each other. We're like brothers, but we fight like brothers too.
This isn't just a partnership of two people. It's not a Lennon and McCartney situation where it's just a couple people.
There's a Ringo and a Harrison.
Right, Seinfeld and David. Damn, I messed that
Larry
one up.
David.
Larry David.
It's fucking amazing. But no, you actually brought up a really good point, and it was that we have to work in like close proximity. We work in this office, and then we all pretty much go home at the end of the day to just be at home, and drawing that distinction between when are things meant only for like the professional realm and when are they only meant for the personal realm has been a really good learning experience for the most part. Challenging for sure, but something we've been able to like collectively overcome. And just based on like our backgrounds and where we're from, I mean, we're all from different places, but at the end of the day, it's two white dudes and two brown dudes, and there's so much like that like goes on between us that it makes it pretty nice, because at the end of the day, we all collectively, having all gone to law school and arguing the like pros and cons, we all just spit out whatever we can towards any topic, and by the time we're done, we have a very nicely crafted,
So you've also gone to law school.
We all have.
And you're a lawyer.
Yes.
The one we just talked to.
Nicholas Brait, a.k.a. Klaus.
Also went to law school.
Yes,
we can call him a lawyer.
We all went to the University of Arizona, James E. College.
Okay.
James E. Rogers.
Don't forget who paid for your school.
Before they tried to discredit me, I graduated at least slightly ahead of all of them in our class. You should know that. And I was the student body president. I'm the asshole of the group. It's really Nick.
Well, then sell your soul to the bar already, man. Come on.
Well, no slandering on my
Josh graduated magna cum. Fortunately, you didn't have to go pick up your application. They mailed them to you. Otherwise, you would have never gotten it.
Wow. Is that above a 3.4 or what is
Josh is a G.
It was. You'd be surprised by how weighted the curve is in law school. C's are like F's almost. Yeah. It's really nutty.
I just want everyone to know that I supported Josh in his candidacy, and I am partly the reason it all happened.
I take zero credit for anything Josh does. I don't want the liability. No,
I didn't ask for any of that. I didn't ask for anything. But I love these guys. We have supported each other. It's been good times and struggles, but we've done a lot of good work, and we're on our way.
What's the biggest feud you've dealt with? I mean, you've been in business how long now?
Oh, man, the biggest feud. We've been in business for what, 15 months?
Okay. Yeah. So coming up on a year and a half, 2 years. What's the biggest barrier feud you've had to get through, you've had to fight through?
Feud in what sense? In the sense in between ourselves or with other?
No, not personal feuds, but things that were business related. That I mean, when you put 6 people together, 6 cooks in the kitchen, right? Somebody's got to be the head
cooks
chef
and 2 like sous chefs. that's really what it is.
Sometimes 6.
So who washes the dishes?
I mean, all of us, dude. Everyone does everything. Right.
Well, I mean, that's even part of business also, keeping things clean, right? I mean, respecting space, still maintaining boundaries of a personal level, even within the bigger picture of the group. I think I saw somebody walking out of the shower earlier in a towel.
I'll tell you what the biggest business struggle to date that we've had to deal with according to me, and this is a big struggle for me, is the sheer volume of frozen pizzas that are consumed in this office for lunch. It is despicable. I mean, it is disgusting. One of these guys is allegedly from Chicago, and he's the one leading the charge on these frozen pizzas.
What type of frozen pizzas though? Because some of them, are they Chicago frozen pizzas?
No, they're cardboard with tomato sauce on top.
Totinos?
So they're better than Chicago frozen pizzas. Let's just get that on the record.
Is this an executive decision that you're making?
This is my preference for a good hot lunch, no matter how cardboard and ketchup-y it may taste.
But aren't you the health person? Aren't you the yoga and the juice drinks?
That's why I'm allowed to eat shit.
Well, what that tells me is that we need to find a pizza place in town that's local.
It's called Tony P's. Shout out.
Yeah, that's the other problem is when I start complaining, they go get real pizza, man. I'm all pizzaed out.
But if there's so much money being spent on pizza, we need to find a local pizzeria that can collaborate with some mutual something there, right? Maybe have a cannabis-infused pizza or something that we can put a name on it, because we got to cut down the pizza bill.
Sky High Pies, Klaus calls out from the Peanut Gallery. I like it. He's a robot. He's a robot.
We need to establish who's going to be the John Lennon of the group. Called you out.
Yeah.
I've called you out.
Whoa, shots fired.
Yeah, boom!
John Lennon, God rest his soul, passed some time ago, and Paul McCartney, and even others are still.
Let's sign off with a personal poem. No.
Mozzie can do it in Farsi.
We should make Nick sing.
You speak Farsi? That's one of the languages that I understand is one of the fewest spoken in the world, one of the most sought after by the NSA, and one of the more difficult to learn. Is this true?
Mozzie's also sought after.
Before we get to Mozzie, the Gaelic in Ireland is one of those dying languages, and so is the Cajun French. And I just want to give a shout out to both those things.
All right, representing different dying languages.
Hey, but real dying languages for real people.
The Farsi language isn't dying, people. We're getting ahead of ourselves here.
Let's see who the next president is, and then we'll determine.
Whoa. That's I don't
Getting
think
political late at night.
I don't know. I think it's probably gonna be Hillary, huh?
I don't know. You can tell me in Farsi if you don't want to declare who you're for.
اگر تو فارسی بگم اسمش هنوز تو آمریکاییه دیگه میفهمی.
Wow, that sounds very native-like.
Yeah.
I mean, were you born in Iran? Or?
No. I was born in Chicago.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, I've lived
Your
in America.
family?
My parents are from Iran.
First generation?
Yeah, they moved here to study abroad, and then it was just before the revolution, and the revolution happened, so they just decided to stay.
The late 70s?
Yeah, the U.S. gave them asylum.
Born
or
as
not
soon as
asylum, rather. I'm sorry, green card.
Oh, okay. So they came here through just leaving. They just left.
Yeah, they just stayed. So while they were here, the revolution broke out. Yeah.
Interesting. So you learned English first time in family?
Yeah, I actually learned how to speak Farsi first because my parents would just speak that at home, and that's what I would always hear. And then that became a problem when I went to preschool.
Do they speak English now?
Oh no, they've spoken English longer than Farsi was their native tongue. I mean, well, so they like my mom came here when she was 17, and my dad came here when he was 18, or that might be vice versa. But so, I mean, they've lived in America since the 70s. Then they've been speaking English since then. So what I meant to say is they've spoken English or lived in an English-speaking country for most of their life. They moved there from we were living in San Diego at the time. Actually, that was a tough move for me. We moved in the summer, yeah. So it was the first summer I moved there. I didn't even sleep because it was over 100 degrees every night, you know. Yeah. So I needed to get out of Vegas. I applied to as many colleges as I could around the U.S. and I ended up getting into Berkeley.
Wow.
Yeah, thank you. So I went there for undergrad. I thought that would be a helpful major. It was in a lot of ways.
For what purposes? Business or to help people? Or
I don't know. I really wanted to do something with my life, and I had at that point in my life run into the law a couple times. And
major stuff?
It fascinated. No, not major stuff, but just enough to make me at least somewhat fascinated in it. And I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but I hate chemistry. Like I couldn't do it, and I just didn't like it, and it wasn't for me. And I took a couple classes in poli-sci and realized I liked that, and saw law as a natural progression of that. And it was in a lot of ways. I'm happy that I went to law school and I got my law school education.
Do you feel compelled to achieve to such high standards, being from where your family is from and starting over in the U.S.? Where does your motor come from? I mean, that seems like some high achievements. Are you feeling obligated, or is this personal desire?
A little of both. I mean, I felt a lot of pressure growing up to do well, but I think that's just good parenting. Honestly, my parents knew the importance of an education, and they really pushed me to get one.
Do you think working in this industry is going to somehow, in the future, make certain employment options not available by having an association in the cannabis industry?
You mean future employment options?
Yeah, like
I've thought about
for a
it.
Public defender, or a law firm somewhere, or a corporation.
I've thought about it. I'm sure it will in a number of ways, but honestly, if that's the type of mentality that firm has, then I don't want to be there.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking for the firm that is interested in having my experience in this industry, that sees what I can bring to the table and is interested in participating in that.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to tiptoe around and lie about my past, and I'm not going to do that. So, because I'll probably get caught and they'll just put me in more trouble. So what's the point?
I agree. I'm under the same philosophy.
Right. I mean, this is the path I've chosen. I would regret not taking this path more than I regret the results of taking it, or the side effects, if you will, of taking it.
It's bound to pay off, in the sense that if you stick with anything and you put everything you have into it, a quality something can be produced.
If anything, you'll get experience.
Yeah.
You know, and experience is always valuable. So.
Well, this has definitely been an experience. This has been a long afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've been here 4 hours recording.
Really?
No, I don't know if it's been that long. But we've hit a lot of people. I might have to break this up into multiple shows.
Hey, you do what you do, baby.
Thanks for listening to this week's show. Make sure to come back next week. We're going to have more guests lined up, speaking with dispensary owners, growers, business owners. Make sure to follow us on all of the social media, Facebook, Google+. You can listen to our shows live from the website or your preferred listening platform. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, even YouTube, all under the same name, CannabisCommunityProject.com. We'll see you next week.